Monique and Titus in this season finale. We see Monique, she goes inside the prison. She's all hyped up to see her man. And then she walks out and I'm like, oh hell no. This girl did not just come up with an excuse to leave this visit. But apparently she learns that her shirt is see-through. And good for Monique, because I guess she had an extra shirt on her. Which, I mean, I don't normally walk around with an extra shirt. So at least she had an extra shirt, or she would have been all sorts of screwed. She came back from her visit. She was huffing and puffing like she just got done doing the nasty or something. I'm like, girl, what did you do during this visit? But she said that she ended up going in and she saw Titus, and I guess she had to wait a minute before she could go up to him because she had to deal with the CEO first. But she said when she walked up, it was like magical. She had a feeling she's never felt before, and she keeps repeating over and over again that she believes deep down in her heart that Titus is her soulmate. And she said that this was the best first date that she's ever had. You mean to tell me this first date was better than her first date with Derek when he got out and maxed out her credit card and bought freaking like a T-bone steak with a whole rack of lamb, and he's getting oysters and pretty much ordered the whole damn menu, and then he had his random friend show up that she had no idea who the hell he was. That was such a random ass first date. But she said, yeah, it's the best first date she's ever had. And I think that says a lot when your best first date is with a person in prison, going to the prison and seeing someone, because typically you would think like a better date would be where you could actually hug and kiss on that person. I mean, I'm sure they may have been able to get a little peck or something, but you know, they really restrict you on how physical you can be in these visits. But I think the reason she said that is because she probably felt the most comfortable with him. I'm sure it was still awkward since this is the first time that they're seeing each other in person, but I'm sure it was less awkward compared to like meeting a stranger from the internet or from a dating app for the first time. At least they kind of already have an idea of who the other person is. Do you guys remember when Derek like had a full-on little mini photo shoot while he was sitting there waiting for his dinner with Monique on their first date? I just remembered that when I came across this picture. God damn, that was such a good season. But Monique said that she is ready to have a baby. She feels like her true calling in life is to have a baby, be a mother. But I don't know, girl. You need to take your time. Right now, Monique is all giggly. She's happy. She's like a little teenage schoolgirl in love for the first time because she hasn't really seen the true Titus because she's not with him day in and day out. She just has to go by what he's telling her in prison. But I'm very curious to see if things are going to be the same once he is released. I do hope that they bring them back. I'm sure they will, with it being Monique once he is released from prison here, hopefully in the next year. But she said that she's determined to have a baby, and she got on the phone with Titus after her visit and told him, yes, I want a baby. And he said, look, that's something we're going to talk about when we get out. But she's letting him know straight up how important that is to her. And I think he should at least like tell her like if he is willing to have kids or not. Not be like, okay, like we're going to have a baby as soon as we get out. But I think he should definitely be clear so they know that they're looking for the same thing. Because why do you want to be with someone for 5 years and then find out after 5 years, oh, they don't even want to have kids when this is like a big deal for me? Like that's something that needs to be established early on. But I think Monique needs to slow her horses because she needs to make sure that Titus can get out and can be stable and get a job. I doubt the man's ever worked a real job before, and if it was probably just like at a fast food restaurant as a teenager. But it sounds like all the kind of hustle he knows is working out and doing illegal shit in the street. So she needs to make sure that he can be a man and provide. Titus really doesn't have any like real life responsibility behind bars. So right now their relationship is so carefree, but she just needs to make sure that he can do all that and actually prove himself, not just jump the gun and have a baby and then you realize this man can't even hold a job. You know, some girls are like, oh, my man got a job. He's worked there for 2 days. He's going to be so stable and daddy material. Then they rush and have a baby, and by the time the baby's here, the dad's no longer employed and the dad's no longer in the picture. Monique and Titus still talk every single day. They said she's hoping that he'll get released in 2026 so they can start a family. I don't know. I kind of almost feel like this is a storyline. Monique trying to act like she wants babies. I know she wants babies, but like, girl, I hope you're not that delusional to be one of these types to want to rush and have babies, especially after how bad things went with Derek. Like, just imagine if you would have rushed and had babies with Derek. That would have been hell. She said she's hoping for him to get out in 2026. Maybe she's hoping like for good behavior, he'll be released early. But last time I checked, I believe it was March 2027 was his release date. So that's a year from now. So I'm sure they'll bring them back, and I'm sure they'll probably either be on not this season of Love After Lockup. They might be on the season after this or the season after that. Maybe like 2 seasons from now. I'm sure they will be returning. Now let's just go ahead and talk about Aisha and Mikhael, which is crazy because I'm already gonna have this whole season finale recapped after this video, and typically it takes me like a whole 8-minute video to talk about a couple because I usually have so much to say, but there just really wasn't much that happened in this season finale, I feel like, outside of Justin and Emily. So we saw Aisha, and she decided to go visit with Michael. I'm just gonna call him Michael for the rest of this video, but she pulls up on Michael to see him at the prison, and she finds out that he invited his 2 daughters too, and he did not tell his daughters that he had a girlfriend coming to visit with them. So they thought they were about to see their dad, and they haven't seen their dad in a hot minute, so they're excited to have this one-on-one time with him. And then they're blindsided when they find out that his mystery girlfriend decided to show up too, and they think that Aisha just decided to show up on her own accord. But they later found out from Aisha that Michael invited her, and he wanted them all to be there, and they just weren't very happy with that at all. And Aisha gets to talking to them, and Aisha was really friendly with them, and I'm glad she was like over friendly with them, because you could tell that the daughters weren't too happy, and I feel like if she wasn't like that, the daughters would have been more standoffish. But she's in there talking to the daughters, and she's like, yeah, so I decided to go talk to a lawyer, and a lawyer told me that I can just pay him, I think it's like $4,000 or $5,000, and he'll go see if he can push Michael's 2027 parole hearing and try to see if he can make it earlier, which I didn't even know that was the thing, that you could get a lawyer to possibly push your court hearing earlier. Maybe that's what Monique's trying to do with Titus, and that's why they're hoping he'll get out in this summer instead of next year. But she talked to a lawyer, and she told his daughters, yeah, I talked to a lawyer because I think it's best that we hire this lawyer. I hire this lawyer because he has life in prison. And as soon as she said life in prison, it looked like all the life was sucked out of Michael's daughters, because Michael's daughters were lied to just like Aisha was lied to. Michael's daughters had no idea he had life. They thought he only had like a year left to go and he was gonna be out. They thought that the finish line was almost there. They're about to cross the finish line, but nope. They find out that the finish line may not even exist at this point. And they're so heartbroken. One of the daughters, the oldest one, she just could not keep it in anymore. She started breaking down crying. And I felt for her. I feel like this is something that Michael should have told her, not Aisha. But I feel like he didn't tell the people in his life because I think he thought they would have easily gave up on him. And I think he wanted to keep that hope in their hearts that he's going to be getting out soon. Because, I mean, just imagine meeting a girl and she wants to be your girlfriend and you're in prison. I mean, most girls aren't going to stick around if they're like, yeah, I'm never getting out of here. They're going to be like, screw that. But they think you only have a year to go. Yeah, and the family may have given up on him and just been like, okay, he's never going to get out. We may never get to hug or kiss him outside of prison. I don't want to deal with him anymore. So I think that's why Michael's doing it, for selfish reasons. But I can understand where he's coming from, as much as it's not the right thing to do. And after that, Aisha decided that she's going to go get a lawyer. And we actually saw her start a GoFundMe. I covered that she started a GoFundMe trying to raise $4,000 for Michael's lawyer fees. And last time I checked, she raised $0 out of that $4,000. Nobody has bit on that GoFundMe whatsoever. And I 100% believe that Aisha knew he had life going into this, but I think she came into this because she wanted to promote herself. Because you can tell just looking at Facebook, she loves being on TV. She's always bragging about it. She loves her some attention. But I think she also did it mainly to try to help Michael out. I think she went in thinking, okay, we're going to get on reality TV, we're going to get this platform, and we're going to use it to try to raise money to get him out. I think that's what her end game was with getting on TV, because as soon as it came out that Michael had life, that's when she started pushing this GoFundMe. And they haven't had any success, but I mean, she said she was going to pay for it, so I guess she just probably realized, okay, that's a lot of money, let's see if we can get other people to do it. But I'm very curious, since she hasn't raised any money, if she's going to still move forward with trying to get him out. It said at the end that Aisha's working with her lawyer to free Michael, so I'm very curious if she's going to have any success. I don't know, I just feel like she should have waited another year since his parole hearings, and I guess it's like a year and a half or so. It's in September next year. I feel like she should have just waited until next year and seen if he got denied, and then if he got denied, try to start spending money. But I don't know, maybe they might have success, but if they do, I'll definitely keep you guys updated. But let me know what you guys think about all these cast members and the season finale in the comments below, and thank you so much for watching.